What's up, everyone? So the other day we finished painting the car, and I want to just kind of clarify a few things that you guys took, like two of you guys may have taken notice to. One, actually a great idea covering the wheels with hefty bags. I'm used to using those sheets of plastic they have down at the shops, and you know, I don't have that in the house, so taking the wheels off is a lot more complicated. But hefty bags covering your wheels, they fit perfectly. Oh yeah, and the car stripped down because I sat down and stared at it for like 4.5 hours and decided that even though the paint job was cool, in my mind, it could have been a lot cooler. So stripping the car back down as we speak. I've played a lot with different types of body lines and getting a stripe, because the biggest issue I had was when you went to the rear, it just kind of vanished. It was hard to really see these body lines, and it's a missed opportunity to not emphasize them. So we are going to be doing something really cool with stripes. So you'll see that in this video. By the end, this car will be repainted because even though I don't consider myself a perfectionist, if things aren't perfect, it really bothers me. So though I don't consider myself a perfectionist, I like things to be perfect. So that's why this is really cool. I've never built a rat rod because it's really outside of my comfort zone. I really like to make cars as close to the way they came out from the factory or better as I possibly can. Never done something like this, so it's really cool. It's one thing that I like about, you know, being able to make content, is getting out of my comfort zone. And but we're still going to keep this really gnarly kind of styling. I just want to emphasize the body lines a lot more, because that's really the best part of this car is its body lines. We can't let them get lost. Also, I was playing around with different types of coats and stuff like that, and just getting an idea. At this point, it's just been experimenting for the past almost 4 days, and I decided we are going to have the red inside the hood area there, except for it's going to be a nice sharp, and it'll fade just like this. The stripe will fade as it reaches the end. From front to back, this area right here will fade in, kind of like what we did. Just I'm going to use a gloss instead of a matte, because I really don't think the matte came out very good. So I really like shiny cars. What can I say? I've never been one for a primer finish, and I after really just staring at this car for a while, I decided that it could be a lot more badass, guys. I mean, seriously. So enough talking. I'm gonna continue sanding this thing down. Now that you see the body lines, I'll go ahead and now sand that down, because you can see it tapers in up here. I am gonna probably cut it back so it continues to arch up a tiny bit here, not as extreme as I did originally, somewhere probably in between, and then it will again, just like the front, it will fade away, and as it reaches the back, it's going to fade anyways. So enough talk, let's do. I'll be right back. You don't need to see me sanding this thing all over again. So next time you see this, it will be gone. Now that we have this thing pretty much sanded down again, we have to go ahead and first we're going to use a foxtail. We're going to sweep this thing pretty good, you know, get as much dust off of it as possible. Then we're going to use a microfiber cloth to wipe in one direction. That will get what you're leaving behind with that. And then you're going to switch over to another microfiber cloth. You're going to wet it with some acetone or isopropyl alcohol, preferably like a 91% isopropyl alcohol. And then you're going to wipe in one direction again. Then we are going to tack rag the car, and once we've tack ragged it, we will be able to spray the first coat of primer. Then we'll spray the black, and then I'll catch back up with you guys, because you saw me, you know, messing with stuff the other day in the previous episode. In the, you know, right here, you can see that. And then once we're done with that, we're going to wait a few days for this stuff to harden really, really nicely. We are going to lay out our stripes. We'll play with a little bit, and once it's laid out, we'll spray our stripes, and then our clear coat, guys. We're getting there. I don't know what happened to the lens for this thing. I just realized it's not on. Whoops. All right, guys, I'll get continuing on this. All right, guys, I know I have a tendency to ramble, so I'm gonna try making this short. We have the car painted black again. I know it's not perfect. I know a lot of you guys are really upset. Actually, I'd say very few of you guys are upset that I'm not doing a full restoration. A lot of you guys actually realize that a $14,000 car, you can't put $25,000 into a restoration or more. I mean, it needs interior, it needs so much. It'll never be perfect. It'll never be original. So you know, it's not a concourse car. It never would be a concourse car. So I appreciate the majority of you guys realizing that you can't, you know, bet the farm on a gamble at Las Vegas. This is not a car that you'd want to spend tens of thousands of dollars restoring. It's just not that style of a car. If it was a one-off, sure, I can understand that, but that's why I like buying these kind of obscure cars that are just really, really roached, because then I can do whatever I want. Speaking of which, I'm not going to do this to the Cadillac. I have decided I'm going to keep it, but I want to try to make it keep it as original as possible. It is a true survivor with only really the rust being in the door. So anyways, the next time we paint something, we are going to go get ourselves a carport if we have the funds, and we'll paint it inside there so that a million bugs don't try to get into the paint. The wind doesn't blow the paint weird, and it gives us a lot more control. So I'm not worried about the paint scheme on this. It's supposed to be ratty. It's a rat rod. I want it to be Mad Maxy, like monstrous. So I appreciate the majority of you guys understanding that. Anywho, I have a couple cool things are going on right now that I will fill you guys in a little bit. Of course, the Cadillac. Also, a few weeks ago, I found another project for maybe next year, which it's going to be stored behind the house on a concrete pad covered up so that it doesn't rust. And I think you guys will get a kick out of that. And it is old, like super old. But anyways, I know a few of you guys wanted me to keep the chrome. So if you're, say, in the Mad Max Fury universe or Road Warrior or whatever, like if you're in the, I actually prefer the original Mad Max. Anyways, you don't want chrome glistening across the desert. You want it so that people don't see you coming, you know? So the bumpers are getting painted, or they are painted. I am going to keep it gloss. I've decided that. But we are replacing the headlights with a different set of headlights. You'll see that when that happens. I'm not replacing the damaged part of the grill. In fact, I took part of the Challenger that we got the rear end out of. I took part of the front headlight assembly. We're going to rebuild it inside there just so that we have headlights. I'm not worried about it looking weird. Anyways, let's go get some paint slammed on this thing so we can hopefully get this engine put in this weekend, and we have a full picture of what the engine and the whole car will look like. And other than that, I think we're pretty much set. So also I took the hood off so it's easier to paint. Wide car. It's such a wide car. And yeah, let's get to work. Okay guys, so I was able to get both sides taped off. Now I got to go ahead and cover the entire car. So this side was really hard with the dents in it to get it close to being right. If you can't see, what I've done here is every so often I put a little bit of piece of tape here. I measured from here to here, and then I just went with what felt right. And as far as I can tell, we're looking pretty good. So hopefully, you know, because the next step is we're gonna cover the car so that the rest of the red paint doesn't cover everything. Then we're gonna spray those lines on, and then we're gonna go ahead and do a little bit of a little zest to the car. So let's go ahead and let's get this thing covered up. One really quick way to tape off your car in a situation like this is definitely garbage bags. Get those real thin, real large, cheap black garbage bags, or white or gray or whatever color they have. But I'll tell you, this is 3 garbage bags currently. I need 1 more up front, so I will use, out of what, a box of 50 or 38, or I don't remember what it was, you know, I'm going to use 4 on each side. And then on the area that you're not going to be spraying up here, so I'm not worried about that. Now, in a situation where you're actually in a booth and you're really trying to get a really good paint job, you know, you'd end up taping this all off so you can't go, you know, you would be taping this all off. But if you're going to save your windshield, you'd tape that off. In theory, you could get this back off, but that would be, you know, stupid. And it's such a hard job to do. But I'm not worried about this. Anyways, short, small area. Don't waste the garbage bags. You get some real cheap paper, guys. All right, let's get this thing taped off and painted. Now, real quick, I'll show you how I quickly do these. You just roll them up like this. Keep it going till you get to the other side. And then you just chew through it like a beaver. I'm just kidding. There we go. I'm trying to find the edge of the corner here, like so. You know, it doesn't have to be perfect. You're just going to be taping it. If you need to use a little extra tape, then use a little extra tape. Bingo. Anyways, the reason why I'm trying to not talk too much and do this is because I don't like leaving tape on paint very long. Even though it is painter's tape, it has a tendency of still sticking very well the longer it sits, especially if it's in the sun, and it might peel up your paint. Hopefully it won't, because that means it adhered pretty badly. But if it's real fresh paint, there's a good chance you can end up hurting it. So I'm going to get back to it. Well, guys, here's the official paint job. Well, not the official paint job. We still have to do a little bit of zesting on there. But here it is before we go to the next and the final level. Boom. And I got to say, I really like it. I really do. I'm glad we're not doing the fade on the side for the actual top. It does fade as you go further this way. And then as we go further back here, it does fade. Now it's dark back here because of the tree above, but you can see just how much it fades. It almost gets that speckling like the engine. That was where kind of game plan right there. Now, still, I don't know how people paint with spray cans and get a really good finish. So the people that can do that, you guys are artists. As comparison to use like a gun, there's no contest. It's way easier to use a gun than the inconsistencies of spray cans. And the outside, the problem is it's just, you know, wind, everything. So when we go to our next paint job, we're going to be doing it inside of a enclosed environment so that we can get a much better paint job, because it's just not going to. Now, 3 things I got to do yet. I got to go through and add the, what is it called? I don't know, blood splatter. We need to do blood splatter. And instead of just doing it on the front this time, I'm going to do it on the front, like you just plowed through some, you know, zombies or, you know, whatever. And or maybe some of the other road warriors came out and you know, you were going to the Thunderdome. I don't know. But we want to get that little to it. And then we're also going to do it right behind the rear wheels, not too far up, just like you're driving through it. So pretty much if you look just like right through there. And then we have some more cool things we're going to do to accent some pretty interesting things. And we have to, before we reinstall the little grill section that's on the side, you can see it over here, and that's just a regular flat black. And yeah, hold on a second. Now I still have to, let me set you guys down for a second. Well, guys, here it is. I love it. You got the blood splatter going on. It's very glossy, I'll be honest with you. It's very, very glossy. I'm not going to change it. It's not going to go matte or anything. Just, it's very solid here as you go through. Like I was saying, you can really see how it fades out near the end. It's almost like how the engine is. I don't know if I already said that or not, but the car looks awesome, guys. You know, as awesome as a rat rod's gonna be. And actually, I have to say it looks cooler than if it was just a fresh paint job. Mind you, once again, we'll get those windows replaced. And oh, can't wait to see it with the engine in it. And then right where the name is, look at the blood splatter. Really just, oh, I'm really digging this, guys. Right where the name would be. I love this, guys. So this is the permanent paint job. We're not going to change it. I just got to say I love it. I really, really do. I'm very glad that we changed the way, especially the center stripe is. It does fade as you get closer to the top of it. But as it stands, this is just, it is brutal, guys. I don't know how well this is coming out on the screen, but I really, really, really dig this. I'm really happy how the matte finish came out on this as well. And we have the little blood splatter on it. The matte finish throughout here. We are going to replace or install this after we replace the light bulbs on it. I'm going to use the pieces that I have right down there best I can to make it so that we have 2 lights over here. And then I have to replace the broken one of these right here with the one that was in the car, and we'll just clean that. That one's actually broken too. We're going to order a new one. So we have directionals. I did not remove the that one broke when I started taking it off. That's why I just taped off the rest of them. So I need to order a new side marker on this side, and this just came out freaking awesome, guys. Oh, I feel like the Joker or someone should be driving this. Like, this should be a villain car in the Mad Max series. Before, I'd say this one is before the Thunderdome and stuff like that, because this one is where they're still kind of solid cars. They don't have the trunks ripped out and have you know, storage and stuff there. So this is before it got too nuts in that post-apocalyptic universe. I love it, guys. I absolutely love it. And the blood splatter, guys, oh my god, I'm so glad I switched over to a gloss instead of sticking with the matte. Now I still have a lot of other plans that need to be done, and to make this thing just pop a little bit extra. And I gotta say, taping off the stripes, especially on this side, taping off the stripes with the dents was really, really hard. And the blue tape, really, if you can avoid using that blue painter's tape on this, it is a nightmare for it to getting it, you know, to get it to really stick. So use the other green painter's tape. It seemed to do a lot better job. That's why we have nice crisp lines right here. But guys, this is awesome. I'm very, very, very pleased how this came out, and it is just brutal. I really feel like the next step for this car is we get the engine in, we break in the engine, we eventually get the engine back up to Nick's. So a lot of you guys wanted an update, and I don't feel like just doing an update specifically for it, because I don't like doing just 5 minutes, 2-minute videos. But a lot of you guys are wondering what's going on with the engine. So the engine is ready to be broken in again. Once it's broken in, we drive around, we get some miles on it, we see how, you know, it performs, what we need to do. I may weld the rear diff. I haven't decided yet. So for now, it's only going to do, you know, 2-wheel appeals, unless I can find a carrier for an 8 1/4 that is you you know, a posi, because we're not going to break that rear end. The other rear end is going in the Buick. So eventually, after we bring it back up to Nick's, currently I can't bring it to Nick's because if I leave the state, there's a, you know, they have random checkpoints now and stops and phone numbers for you, them people to report you. So if I leave the state, there's a good chance that I'll get reported and my family would lose its health care. So we can't do that. As it stands right now, the engine's going to go in here. We're going to enjoy it. Once we can bring it up to Nick's, we'll pull the engine back out, bring it up to Nick's, and have it dynoed. After that, when I can afford it, something I really want to do with this is right in the center, right there. I want to bring it to the rest of the way to Mad Max. I don't know how expensive it would be to put a supercharger on the 318, but yeah, I think it would be badass to put a supercharger, stick it through the hood, which we'd have to do something because it is going to still be stored outside. So we have to find a way of, I don't know, making a kind of like a boat where we put something maybe underneath it. I don't know. We have to find a way of sealing it, preventing water from getting down inside. But I love it, guys. This is just mean. And for the people that didn't want me to paint the bumper, like, I don't know if I already said it or not, but, you know, too bad. I like it this way. What gave me the idea is you had the option to have it paint matched to your car in that year. And they look, when they're fully, I actually saw a restored car with the bumper painted the same color. It looked slick. And I got to say, it really just, the car wouldn't be as mean if we left it chrome. So I am very, very excited. The wheels pop. I'm very happy with the way I chose to go with the color and the wheel. The tires are just beautiful. I absolutely love this combination. Eventually, down the road, I would like to go to a larger size wheel, allowing us to do a little bit better stagger on the actual size. You know, we'd be able to fill the wheel well a lot better. Not only would we be able to fill the wheel well a lot better, we could go with a lot bigger rear tire. This is the biggest I can get width-wise without ending up with a physically smaller tire. So if we go up to a 15-inch tire or, you know, a 17-inch tire, between those two, we'd be able to get a real meaty tire on here. And then we might have to consider going to a bigger rear end. Might. The 8.25 rear ends are still pretty skookum, so I'm not too overly worried. I am happy with how the chrome trim. Now, I did scuff the living daylights out of these pieces of trim. And, oh, I left a piece of tape in here. I don't know if I said this, but don't leave tape on things too long because it will actually potentially rip the paint off. But it seems like we did a pretty good job bonding it on there. But anyways, I digress. If you're going to paint chrome, scuff the heck out of it. And then make sure you put a self-etcher primer on it. And what I did, here's the steps that I did. I brought it down with 80 grit sandpaper. Then I brought it up to, I brought it down with 60 grit sandpaper up to 120. If you're sanding things, make sure you double. You go in double increments. Like, in my old BMW, I redid the headlights. I brought it all the way up to 3,000. And then those things lasted forever. I clear coated it with a special type of ceramic clear coat, and it stayed clear for, like, crystal clear for years. But anyways, I digress. Up to 120 grit sandpaper on here. Then I used the self-etching primer. I did 2 coats of the self-etching primer. Then I went with a primer sealer. Then I put the base coat black on it, and that's pretty much where we stood. So this is a single stage black, so it's got the black and the clear in it. I'm not a big fan of that, but for this car, you know, we're going for a budget. We're going to do the full system on here on the Buick. The Supra is going to get the full system. And in between everything else, I would really like to do another rat rod. So a little while ago, I'm not going to say anything more than this. A little while ago, I got the opportunity to get we're talking 40s era pick-em-up truck. And it's true to the logo or the motto of some assembly required. The frame is beautiful. I don't know what the frame can. I don't even know what kind of truck it is. All I know is it's super sick and it's from the 40s. And I'm gonna try doing my first chop top. And that being said, people that are upset that I might damage a 40s car, no. I buy things so that I can do what I want to it, and it's so boogered up already that I'm not worried about bastardizing it. So same with this thing. I had so much fun building a rat rod, and I'm still having so much fun building this rat rod that I would like to do another one at some point. That won't be a rat rod, that won't be a rat rod. This Cadillac definitely won't be a rat rod, but boy guys, there's just something super fun about it. Oh, and I'm not saying this is what's going to happen, but there is a distinct possibility that the rat rod, the next rat rod we'll do, will be a 12 valve Cummins. So I figure that way we can get a little bit of practice in it with the Cummins before we start working on the old 81 Ram, guys. All right, I'm done talking. You have yourselves a wonderful night, and on that, remember, keep her shiny side up. And boy, she is shiny. I mean, JJ Abrams would be like having a field day. There'd be like lens flare everywhere. All right, guys, take care. Just a quick shameless plug towards this new t-shirt design. You can find the link down below. I'm very proud of this design, and all the proceeds are going to go help these builds. So check out teespring.com and the t-shirts that we have available. I even have this with the satellite on it. So if you're interested, go check it out.